Hey everyone, welcome back to the next layout update. Today I'm going to work on, or this update I'm going to work on painting the backdrops and figuring out what color what it is. So here what we're looking at is a couple different shades of blue from between Walmart, Home Depot, and Lowe's. I think for the most part I liked this one the best when it came to trying to match other photos in the sky that I had. So I'm going to give this one a try and let's see how it turns out. Here we are now with half the backdrop done. I used that seascape color that we looked at before and tried to use some white to blend it in. It looks pretty good, but I think it's way too blue for me. You can see the streaks very early on, so I'm gonna say this is too dark and have to go with a different paint color to do the rest of it. I think this would work, but just overall it's not what I'm looking for. So the next color we're gonna go for is this right here. It's called Sonic Sky and it is sold at Lowe's, and we're gonna give that a shot to see how that does. I'm hoping having the lighter blue will make it easier to sort of see and fade out from the haze in the horizon. So here's that Sonic Sky painted in, and then just in one little corner. And then I came back with a white paint and brushed it on the horizon level to create that haze look, and then also attempted some of my first clouds. I think overall this looks way better than this one. I know it's a little bit hard to tell probably in the video with how the light is, but I think we're gonna go around the rest of the layout and I'm gonna redo that section and do the rest of it. As you can see right now, I've already masked off roughly how much it needs to be painted. And then also do some of the trim work so that I can come in and paint the rest of it with a rolling brush. Here's what it looks like now that I'm finished with the Sonic Sky. I think this is the color right here. Like, this is absolutely awesome. I just have the base color on, so I haven't done anything for the haze in the horizon yet, but I have at least most of the room done. The reason why that back spot is not done is because I'm going to have hardboard and a backdrop, so no sense in having to worry about covering some of that stuff up. As you can see, I was able to take some of the old backdrops from my old layout. I'm gonna cut these up to make them a little shorter, and then I'll repurpose them. Because man, sheets are now like 15 bucks versus I think when I did my first layout a couple years ago, they were $9. But the goal for the rest of this, for the backdrop, is going to be to do this haze and cloud cover around the rest of the horizon line on the layout. And then from there, I can start working on getting some of the backdrops up and also getting the plywood and working on some of the bench work. So bringing you guys an update, here is a little further. I have the haze in the horizon and the clouds done. On the rest of the layout though, I only did the haze. And the reason why this is looking a little bit different now is because I turned up my exposure based on one of the people I was talking to hopefully remove some of the darkening on it. It's working a little better, but I still have to play around with it. That's wet over there, that's why it looks like that. But the whole layout, besides the back wall, has that haze on it and it's drying. I was also able to paint 2 of the backdrops there. And the next step is, for me, is going to be going through and putting this bench work for the staging yard that's going to go around the exterior of the layout. At some point I will do the clouds that are over here onto this wall and this wall, but that can happen after the paint's been dry and the layout's up. I just want to make sure this is what I want to do and start working on some of the bench work. Well, after most of a day of work, I have all the staging wood up. This is going to be 22-30 seconds plywood. It's like 7 layers. I went with a little thicker because this is going to be behind the backdrop and it's going to be a little harder to access and to fix if something does go wrong with it. But I've only had to do a couple splices where I put one underneath and then the screws on both sides. So that goes all around the whole other side of the layout. And then I have 1/2 inch exterior plywood that is going to be for the base of the layout. And I just have these 2 sheets in. One of the questions that someone might have is why I have a height difference. Well, that is because I'm going to put cork road bed for the main line here, but for the staging yard, I really don't want to have to do any road bed. So that is the perfectly 3/16 of an inch, which is the exact same thing as the cork road bed, so I can seamlessly transition over. But overall, it's looking really good. I think the next step for me here is going to be to put track down just for this big loop and also figure out the lift gate here. Well, I decided to go a slightly different direction based on a couple lucky factors, and I now have flooring in the layout room. Obviously before it was just like a plywood sheet. What I ended up doing is I went to Harbor Freight. They had this 4-piece anti-fatigue foam mat set. It covers 17 square feet. It was on sale this weekend for $7.98 a package. And so usually it's about 12 bucks a package, so it's a really good deal. And being not even 130 bucks to do this whole room, I think it looks absolutely awesome. I'm testing out, I have some extra carpet from when the carpet was done in the house. Curious, I'm going to leave that in certain spots, but I'm just trying to get it flat at the moment. But yeah, it looks really good. I'm really happy with what it is, and for 130 bucks, and this is almost 300 square feet, you can't go wrong. So really good deal, very happy about it. Next step is I'm gonna start actually lining out the track for the main line and the staging. Why I had to switch was that the feeder wire, the 20/2 gauge doorbell wire that I need is not here yet. So I'm like, I might as well do the flooring and then come back to do some of the track work.